Welcome to 2.7's Math Moment. Today students learned about different properties that would help them mentally solve or more easily solve addition and multiplication problems. So the first property that they learned was the commutative property, which just tells them that changing the order of an addition or multiplication problem does not change the answer that they get. So for instance, a plus b is the same thing as b plus a. With numbers, 2 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 2. Their answers are both 5. Another property students learned was the associative property, which states that changing the order or the groups in which you solve doesn't change the answer. So for instance, a plus b, if I solved those two first and then added c, it would still give me the same answer as if I added b plus c first and then added a. So for instance, with numbers, if I had 2 plus 3 plus 1, it would give me the same answer as 2 plus 3 plus 1. No matter the order that I add them in, they're going to be the same. Here, I get 5 plus 1 is 6. Here, I get 4 plus 2 is 6. They're both the exact same. So that's what that property shows students. The last property students learned was the distributive property. The distributive property says that when you multiply a number by the sum, you get the same answer as if you multiplied those numbers individually. So we think about the distributive property, we think of the word distribute. I distribute the A to the B and to also the C. It's the same exact thing as if I took A times B and then added A times C, which I'm going to show an example of down below. So the first one says, use the distributive property so the problem only has 2 factors and then solve. Here we see that this problem looks kind of cumbersome. It looks like a lot of steps, but they both have times 10 in common. With the distributive property, I can distribute numbers to the inside, or I can also pull them out of the parentheses to help solve a problem. So in this case, I'm going to pull the 10 outside of the parentheses, and then I'm just going to put what is left. I've got a 34, an addition, and a 67. So I'm going to put that inside the parentheses. And now I've solved the problem, so I only have 2 factors, 34 and 67, and I could distribute the 10 to each one to get the exact same answer as I did over here. So that's an example of how I could use the distributive property either way. This problem says to regroup the numbers using the associative property. So again, the associative property states that no matter what the order I add numbers in, it doesn't change the sum. So here I see that I've got 3 fractions, but 2 of them already have the same denominator, with 5. We learned in Unit 1 that you have to have the same denominators in order to add fractions. So I'm going to do those first, even though they're not in order. Whenever I have denominators that are the same, they stay the same. 2 plus 3 is 5. I know that whenever a fraction has the same number on top as it does the bottom, that is the same as 1 whole. Now that makes it super simple because I just have 1 whole plus 11 twelfths to make a final answer of 1 and 11 twelfths. Now, the key to remembering about properties is that these work for addition and multiplication. They do not work for subtraction and division.